Have you ever felt that something is missing from our history? Have you looked at ancient maps or magnificent old buildings and wondered who truly built these? Mainstream history presents a clear, linear story of human progress, narrated with a sprinkle of white supremacy. It tells us of rising and falling empires, from the Romans to the British. But what if the largest, most advanced empire of all has been completely erased? What if a civilization once spanning the globe was deliberately wiped from our collective memory? This is the story of the great Tartarian Empire, a realm whose existence challenges everything we have been taught about our past. It is a story not found in official textbooks, a history whispered about in the shadowed corners of the world. This vast empire, known as Tartary, supposedly stretched across Asia, Europe, and even the Americas. It was not a land of primitive nomads, as some old maps might suggest. Instead, it was a highly sophisticated society. The people of Tartary possessed a deep understanding of technology and architecture that seems to defy our modern comprehension. They built grand cities, harnessed free energy from the atmosphere, and lived in a world of peace and abundance. Their legacy, proponents say, is all around us, hidden in the very foundations of our own cities. But if this empire was so grand, so powerful, where did it go, and why have we never heard of it? The mystery begins with old maps. Before the 1800s, maps created by the world's most respected cartographers consistently showed a massive country called Tartary, or the Tartarian Empire. This was not a small, insignificant region. It was a colossal landmass, often depicted as the largest country in the world. Yet, after a certain point in history, it simply vanishes. Newer maps show the area divided into Russia, China, and other nations. There is no mention of a collapse, no great war, no treaty that explains its disappearance. The most powerful empire on Earth seemingly evaporated into thin air, leaving behind only tantalizing clues for us to rediscover. This sudden vanishing act is the central puzzle of the Tartarian Empire. How does an entire civilization, complete with its own language, culture, and advanced technology, get written out of history? The official narrative is silent on the matter. Academics and historians dismiss Tartary as a geographical term for an unknown region, not a unified empire. But a growing community of independent researchers disagrees. They argue that the evidence is overwhelming and that the erasure was intentional. They believe a catastrophic event, a great reset, was followed by a deliberate campaign to conceal the true history of our world and the lost golden age of Tartary. The story of Tartary is not just about old maps. It's a hidden legacy all around us. Look at the grand buildings in our cities, state capitals, cathedrals, city halls. These marvels, found worldwide, share a mysterious, unified style. Some say a cataclysm buried their lower levels, evidence of a lost civilization beneath our feet. Prepare to see the world with new eyes. Tartary's story is your hidden heritage. To understand the Tartarians, we must seek their identity. An empire so vast had its own language, culture, and rulers. The historical record is silent, but clues exist for those who look. Researchers find texts hinting at a sophisticated Tartarian society. The Tartarian language, a universal tongue, may have influenced many modern languages. This lost language was inscribed on monuments and hidden in private collections. A universal language suggests a unified global culture predating our fragmented world. The Tartarians remain a mystery. Were they a single group or a multicultural federation? Some theories link Tartarians to indigenous peoples worldwide, including Moors and other native tribes around the world. Figures in old artwork, dressed elegantly, were citizens of an advanced civilization. Their history's erasure was deliberate, disconnecting us from a glorious heritage. Tartary's emperors are legendary, forgotten in mainstream history. Genghis Khan, often seen as a conqueror, is reframed as a ruler of Tartary. Destruction narratives were propaganda by victors dismantling Tartary. Researchers pieced together genealogies hinting at powerful emperors of a golden age. The Bible's mention of Tartarus may reference the fallen Tartarian Empire. Some see Tartarus as a terrestrial reference, not a mythical pit. Was Tartarus a code for the conquered Tartarian Empire? Could this be an admission of Tartary's defeat and knowledge suppression? The hidden truths may be a clue to the cataclysm that ended their world. Every great nation has its symbols, its flag, and its coat of arms. The great Tartarian Empire was no exception. The Tartarian flag featured a black griffin, a symbol of strength and vigilance. Another symbol was the owl, representing wisdom and mystery. Together, the griffin and owl symbolized an empire of power and intellect. These symbols are the fingerprints of a lost world. For centuries, leading cartographers like Ortelius and Mercator depicted Tartary as the largest empire on Earth, stretching from the Caspian Sea to the Pacific. These maps showed defined borders, provinces and cities, far from a vague, unknown land. Then, in the 19th century, Tartary vanished from maps, erased without war or treaty. The maps remain, silent testimony to a forgotten empire. Have you ever noticed old buildings with windows just above the pavement or grand doorways sunken into the ground? The mud flood theory suggests a sudden worldwide disaster buried entire cities, hiding a lost civilization beneath our feet. Across the globe, excavations reveal ornate windows and doors deep underground, features meant to be seen, not buried. Were these buildings constructed this way, or are we living atop the ruins of a forgotten world? Across the world, mysterious star-shaped fortresses stand as silent monuments. Mainstream history calls them military bastions, but the Tartarian theory suggests they were advanced energy plants, harnessing Earth's natural frequencies. Their precise geometry and moats weren't just for defense. They were key to drawing and distributing energy. Today, these star forts remain, their true purpose lost, hinting at a forgotten science and technological sophistication. Tartarian cathedrals and temples were more than places of worship. They were healing centers, designed to generate resonant frequencies that restored harmony to body and mind. Their architecture, domes, stained glass and pipe organs were all part of a sophisticated sound healing technology. Even the gardens were designed for therapeutic effect, creating sanctuaries where both people and animals could heal. Across continents, we see the same grand domes, arches and columns, remnants of a global architectural style. Mainstream history calls it neoclassical or Baroque, but these buildings may be the true legacy of the lost Tartarian Empire. Today, banks, governments and elites occupy these structures, erasing their origins. They stand as silent witnesses to a forgotten, advanced civilization. The rulers of Tartary remain spectral figures, their names and deeds largely erased from history. Yet fragments from old chronicles and art reveal a sophisticated monarchy. The Grand Khans presided over a vast multicultural empire, fostering peace and prosperity. Queens and women held respected positions, their elegance and authority evident in surviving portraits. Images show citizens in refined, tailored clothing, challenging the narrative of a primitive people. The memory of Tartary's high culture was suppressed, replaced by tales of barbarism to justify its erasure. The Tartarian theory claims the original ruling class of this lost empire were Black Moors, dark-skinned peoples depicted in old European art as nobles and saints. Rather than being subjugated, these Moors were the architects of Tartarian civilization, their influence stretching across continents. After the empire's fall, history was rewritten to erase their legacy, recasting them as primitive and stripping them of their noble heritage. The theory even suggests many enslaved in the Americas were not Africans brought across the ocean, but indigenous Moorish descendants of Tartary enslaved on their own land. This radical re-examination challenges the official narrative, arguing that what was truly stolen was not just freedom, but an entire civilization's identity. Early explorers described American natives as diverse, including Black Moors, remnants of Tartary, before the narrative was changed. Old photos show black indigenous Americans, contradicting the later story of a red man from Asia. The new narrative disconnected these people from their land, erasing evidence of a sophisticated global civilization. Images of prosperous black families after the Civil War hint at a lingering noble class, the last echoes of Tartarian heritage. Rediscovering Tartary means reclaiming a stolen legacy, challenging the historical amnesia imposed by those in power. The vast canals and walls attributed to the Tartarians, like the Erie Canal and the Great Wall of China, defy the limits of ancient technology. These structures, with their precision stonework and massive scale, suggest advanced engineering far beyond what history admits. The theory posits these were remnants of a global infrastructure for trade, water management, and even weather control. Oddities like inward-facing fortifications on the Great Wall hint at a different purpose. Perhaps to contain, not defend. The Tartarian legacy is seen in impossible structures worldwide, built with lost technologies that challenge our understanding of the past. Beneath modern cities lie vast mysterious tunnels and cathedrals, remnants of Tartarian subterranean engineering. These were not crude sewers, but sophisticated networks for water, energy, and even high-speed pneumatic transport. Architectural beauty deep underground suggests these spaces were vital, not utilitarian. The scale and depth of these works imply advanced excavation technology, not simple manual labour. The hidden world below is the ultimate testament to Tartary's lost science and ambition. Tartarian civilization was powered by free energy, harvested from the atmosphere, earth, and even lightning. Their iconic spires, domes, and towers were not just decorative, but components of a global wireless energy grid. Copper domes and stone towers acted as energy collectors, while pyramids amplified cosmic forces. This abundance of clean power fostered prosperity and peace, eliminating the need for resource wars. The suppression of this technology after Tartary's fall plunged humanity into scarcity, hiding the secret of limitless energy in plain sight. The Tartarians created a wireless world, harvesting energy through domes and spires, broadcasting power invisibly. Lampposts and homes glowed without wires or chimneys, heated and lit by the ether. Even transport and early robots ran on this free energy, offering clean, silent comfort. A golden age of technology we're only beginning to imagine today. The fall of Tartary was no quiet affair. The great fires that swept through cities like Chicago and Boston weren't mere accidents, but calculated acts of destruction, turning magnificent architecture to ash. Official stories blame accidents, but the speed and intensity of these fires raise questions. Wars and conquest followed, erasing not just buildings, but the very memory of a lost empire. After the wars and disasters, millions of orphans were left behind. Officially, orphanages and foundling homes were acts of charity. But some believe these institutions erased the children's heritage, turning them into blank slates for a new world. The orphan trains and foundling wheels were tools to sever their past, ensuring the memory of Tartary would vanish within a generation. What became of the adults who survived the fall of Tartary? What happened to those who remembered the old world, the world of free energy, magnificent architecture, and a unified global culture? According to the Tartarian story, a sinister solution was devised for them: the insane asylum. The 19th century saw a massive worldwide boom in the overtaking of colossal Moorish castles, estates, and often ornate lunatic asylums. These institutions, we are told, were took over to house the mentally ill. But their sudden proliferation and immense size suggest another, more disturbing purpose. They were prisons for the sane, designed to silence and neutralize anyone who refused to accept the new, fabricated reality. Imagine being a survivor of the Great Reset. You remember a world of wireless light and silent transport. You remember the true purpose of the star forts and cathedrals. When you speak of this world, you are not met with understanding, but with ridicule and disbelief. In the new paradigm, your memories are symptoms of delusion, your knowledge a sign of madness. It would have been tragically easy for the new authorities to declare such individuals insane and commit them to these newly built asylums. Here they could be isolated from the general population, their dangerous ideas and inconvenient memories contained within the asylum walls, drugged out of their minds until they died, taking the truth with them, never to utter it again. The architecture of these asylums is itself a clue. Many were built in the same grand Tartarian style as the city halls and cathedrals, suggesting they were part of the old world infrastructure, repurposed for a new, sinister function. Like the star forts, their true purpose may have been subverted. Instead of being centers for healing, they became centers for psychological destruction. The horrific treatments documented in the history of these institutions, lobotomies, electroshock therapy, solitary confinement, were not crude attempts at medicine. They were systematic methods for breaking the human spirit and erasing memory, ensuring that those who knew the truth could never share it effectively. Ultimately, the fires, the orphan trains, and the insane asylums were all weapons in the final war against Tartary, a war on memory itself. After the physical structures were destroyed or repurposed, and the population was either eliminated or enslaved, the final battle was for the mind. By incarcerating the adults who remembered and re-educating the children who did not, the New World Order could perform its greatest feat of engineering, the construction of a false history. The asylums were the final resting place of the truth, their imposing walls guarding the secret of the Great Forgetting. The fall of Tartary was complete, not when its last city fell, but when its last memory was classified as black, Negro, and coloured. We have journeyed through the shadows of history, following the faint breadcrumbs of a civilization so vast it once covered the globe. Tartary. Its name now lingers in the footnotes of forgotten atlases, its legacy buried beneath layers of earth and time. The story of Tartary is a challenge to our perception of reality, a reminder to question the official narratives we've been taught. The echoes of this silenced world are all around us, waiting for those with open eyes and inquisitive minds to listen. Surrounded by the majestic ruins of a forgotten age, we face a choice. Accept the comfortable version of history or embark on a journey of discovery. The quest for Tartary invites us to become detectives of our own reality. Look for buried windows, impossibly grand architecture, and clues in old maps and books. By understanding what was lost, we imagine what could be regained, a future of abundance and harmony. The choice to see is yours. The journey of rediscovery has only just begun.